What's up guys, I'm Sean Hudspeth and today we're going to be reviewing the lovely Ferrari 488 GTB. This is actually the car that my Ferrari GT3 Racer is based on, so I'm really looking forward to driving it. Remember to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell for more videos like this. We're going to be posting car reviews regularly, and this video is brought to you by East Coast Podiatry, a specialized lower limb clinic in Singapore who are helping me with my right ankle treatment. So just to give you an idea, this car was produced between 2015 and 2019. So before that it was the 458 and after it was the F8 Tributo. And I actually did the official launch of the F8. And funnily enough, I've actually driven the 458 and the F8 that came after, but I've never driven this car, so kind of nice to sort of like finish off that trilogy. Obviously the engine at the time was all new. It's now a 3.9 litre V8 twin turbo, which produced an incredible 670 brake horsepower, which was 100 more than the old car, the 458. I mean, it's not like that car was exactly short on power in the first place. Woo! And there's also, compared to the 458, 760 Newton meters of torque, which was a barely believable 220 Newton meters more than the 458. And for a turbo to rev to 8,000 RPM, I mean, that is just... it's unbelievable. The gearbox now has different ratios for better performance, and it just keeps accelerating. I mean, that kick in the back of the head, it just never ends, it just keeps going. And there were also all sorts of new mechanical components within the engine that were introduced to sort of help reduce friction and the mass of moving parts. So it just makes it more responsive and more efficient and faster revving, really. And at the time, there were also new vehicle controls such as F1 track, EDIF, active dampers, active aerodynamics, which were totally new at the time. And thanks to all this sort of electronics, the 488 would accelerate out of corners 12% faster than the 458. The brakes were also upgraded as well. So now the stopping distance from 200 kilometers an hour to 0 is shortened by 11 meters. And it's just incredible. And there's new tires as well. Better grip, more performance, but without compromising performance in the wet. And back in Maranello, they had this very exclusive, historic Ferrari racing track called Fiorano. Enzo Ferrari used to go down and watch them test cars around there. So it's a legendary circuit, and every new Ferrari sort of has to set a lap time around it, and the 488 laps around 2 seconds faster than the 458 that came before, which is huge. In racing terms, that's like a week. I remember when this car came out, it really had a lot of eyes on it. It had a lot of attention because it was the first Ferrari mid-engine V8 turbo, because obviously the 458 that came before was naturally aspirated. With the turbo, you do get a tiny bit of lag, but it's honestly hardly noticeable unless you really pay attention. On the other hand, it actually makes it really fun to drive. When the boost kicks in, it's just incredible. And you know, this car is actually magic. If you see something in your rearview mirror and you want it to disappear, you just press the gas pedal. Watch. Woo! Oh my gosh, there's so much grip. The car has just come alive. Oh, it just gives the driver so much confidence. You can really lean on this thing in the way into corners. Woo! The gearbox is a peach. There's things flying around in the back. No hint of understeer at all. It's a driver's car for sure. Now before we go any further, I just want to say a big thank you to my title sponsor, East Coast Podiatry. They are a specialized clinic in Singapore for incredibly fast and effective treatments. I really wanted to have them as my team podiatrist, as they have been keeping me pain-free so that I can perform at my best. When I broke my ankle, they handled my post-op treatment and it was just amazing. This was like the ultimate test. I had to recover from a broken ankle in a matter of weeks, so they were pressed for time, working against the clock. They went all out like a pit crew, and they did different types of high-intensity treatment just to get me back on track as quickly as possible. After my first surgery, I could race, but I still couldn't run. Nearly 5 months later, I had a second surgery to remove the metalwork which they put in the first time. However, I was still in too much pain to be able to run. Then I flew back to Singapore, and after just a few weekly treatments at East Coast Podiatry, I was able to run again for the first time in nearly 6 months. They really made such a huge difference for me. I've personally recommended my own parents and my friends to go and see them. So if you're looking for a clinic which is absolutely world-class at treating foot, ankle, knee, and general leg issues, East Coast Podiatry is one that you can really depend on. Now back to the car. So first impressions, I love this spec. I love the Rosso Corsa. It really catches the light really well. And I love this pista piloti style decals on the side, the carbon fiber trim, these wheels as well with a slightly darker tone. I think it looks absolutely fantastic. So this aero pillar at the front here, combined with the F1 inspired double front spoiler, both help to direct airflow towards the front radiators to help improve cooling, but they also help to accelerate airflow under the car towards the flat underbody. This means that the air flowing under the car is faster than the air flowing over the top, which means that there's less pressure under the car than on top. This pressure difference is what creates downforce and creates more grip, pressing the car into the road. So this scalloped air intake at the side here, which wasn't present in the Ferrari 458 that came before, has three main functions. This air intake here helps to channel air towards the intercooler. This air intake here helps to channel air towards the engine, which is then mixed with fuel for combustion, but it also helps to channel air through the rear of the car and out through here. So the air passes through the rear of the car, which helps to reduce drag and improve straight line speed. So this blown rear spoiler here acts as an aero wing because it helps to increase downforce without increasing drag. So over here at the back of the car, the exhausts are mounted higher to allow for a wider rear diffuser, and these fins are actually curved outwards to help boost downforce. There's a little section here, which you can see is a little bit silver, and that remains closed at low speeds to help improve downforce for cornering, but actually opens up by 17 degrees at high speeds to help reduce drag. So it works sort of in the same way as Formula 1 DRS. So all of this gives an end result of a drag coefficient of 1.67, which was the highest of any Ferrari at the time. And that actually means 50% more downforce and less drag. In fact, at 250 kilometers an hour, the weight of the air passing over the car is 325 kilograms. And unlike other manufacturers, Ferrari have managed to achieve this without adding these massive rear wings or these wings protruding out of the body of the car, which would kind of form this overall nice, lovely, elegant look. So the first thing I noticed inside is that these air conditioning vents here are exactly the same as the ones on my racing car. It's absolutely uncanny, but that's pretty much the only similarity because obviously the racing car is completely stripped out. And there's also the addition of two little circular vents here, which help to sort of channel air towards the driver when I'm competing, but honestly, you can't really feel it. And here you actually have proper air conditioning, which is really nice. You have this lovely steering wheel. I love the carbon fiber options for the shift lights as well. Everything is very ergonomic, as you would expect from a Ferrari. Everything is easily accessible without having to move my hands from the perfect driving position. I would have preferred the longer paddles here since they're mounted to the column, but you know, still a really nice feel. The dual screen layout with the rev counter in the middle is really nice and big, nice and yellow. And as always, the interior, the quality of the stitching, the attention to detail. It's luxurious and it's also a nice place to be. It feels very sporty, and these bucket seats are just incredible. Very comfortable, but very supportive at the same time. And the driving position is absolutely perfect. Just driving on this car, it's also very comfortable. It's quiet when you're not pushing it. It's easy to drive, tons of headroom. I'm 6'2", so you know, if I can drive this car, most people can. The bumpy road mode is good, makes it sort of ideal for even everyday driving. Obviously, that is an option for the Magna Ride suspension, but if you're living in the city, it's a must-have for sure. I noticed that the air conditioning fan has 4 settings, right? Get this. And like from 1, 2, and 3, there's like no difference. And then when you put it one setting up to 4, suddenly you're... So there's no compromise. You're either like boiling or you freeze to death. But apart from that, you know, everything works really nicely. I'm gonna do something a little bit naughty. I don't know what people were talking about when they said that this car doesn't sound good. Everyone just thinks that, oh, you know, because it's a turbo, the car doesn't sound good. It sounds incredible. So those people can politely shut up. So thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. I hope you guys liked it. I absolutely love the car. And leave a comment down below if you have an idea about what Ferrari car you want me to review next. Make sure to follow me on social media and follow the racing journey. What's up, guys? So on the menu for today is bakute. It's a peppery pork rib soup. This is the peppery kind. There's also a herbal kind. I prefer this personally. Wow, the yu chow is super crispy. Really nice texture. And it's chewy on the inside as well.